Everyone, and welcome back to another video. This week we're going to be making chicken yakitori, and I can't wait to bring this recipe to you all. So this recipe comes from Just One Cookbook, and basically what we're doing is we're going to be taking a bunch of chicken skewers, or a bunch of skewers that I've been pre-soaking in water. A wooden skewer like this should be probably a little shorter than what I've got here. It should be soaked in water for about 30 minutes before you begin cooking. What I'm going to begin doing right now is actually start making my sauce for boiling. So into my saucepan, I'm going to put a half cup of soy sauce. Reduced sodium or regular soy sauce is fine. Put a half cup of soy sauce. Maybe a little more because that was smells wonderful. We have a little less than half a cup. Now we have roughly a little over half a cup in there. We'll be putting a half cup of mirin in here. Mirin makes everything really sweet. So it pairs really well with our soy sauce. Half cup of that good stuff in. Now we're going to do a fourth cup of sake. Fourth cup of sake in. And now I'm going to get a fourth cup of water. Nothing there. Fourth cup of water in. And then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. There. This is half a teaspoon, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get 4 of my half teaspoons. What I'll do is I'll take 1/2 teaspoon, to move my saucepan over to my brown sugar. Take 2/2 teaspoons. 3/2 teaspoons, and 4/2 teaspoons. And then just as a little optional thing, you don't have to add this, but I'm gonna make my own little modification. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of ginger, this powdered ginger, into my yakitori sauce. I'll stir it all together, stir my powdered ginger in. Make a really good smelling sauce. Then I'm going to put this sauce on medium heat and bring it to a boil. See, they recommended you bring to a boil over high heat, so I'm going to bring to a boil over high heat. The recipe here calls for green onion or scallion, but I don't have any scallion or green onion, so I'm not going to include it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up my chicken breast. I'm going to open up my chicken breast tender package. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these into little bite-sized chunks. I'm not going to prep this pack of chicken just yet. What I'll do is I'll open up this one with a knife. This would open with a knife. Apparently it wasn't, but now it has. Crack this open. So recording, which is good. I'll begin prepping my chicken. Now these are chicken breast tenderloins. This is what I had in my house. But I would recommend you use chicken thighs rather than chicken breasts for this. That sauce is coming to a boil. Now I'll bring it to a simmer. Or rather, think of a rolling boil. It came to mostly a came to a boil on the outside, not on the inside just yet. I have to put any chicken with. Put my teaspoon. Swirl it around. And that's smelling wonderful. Great. Now what I'm going to do is just start cutting into bite-sized chunks. That's a little... I cut the first one to a little small chunk, but just so that you can see what I'm doing, bring it down just a little. The camera just down just a little bit. And as I continue cutting my chicken, I'm going to keep a close eye on my sauce. Make sure that it doesn't boil over. I know that I brought that to a boil. Put it on simmer. And I'm just going to continue cutting up this chicken. Okay, we're almost there. Now we continue cooking away. Or rather, not cooking away, cutting away. These are a little stuck together, that's okie dokie. There, now they're separated. We just keep going. You don't want these pieces too big, but you don't want them too small either. So make sure you just cut nice, thick, medium-sized chunks. Rather than going too thin, I'd err on the side of it being a little too thick. Elevate that to a pile. Put this last skewer up, or that last loin up. And we're ready to go on this chicken crust. Now I read this next thing. Great. Okay, now I'm gonna wash my hands. Alrighty. Let that get hot for a second, and then I'll explain the next step. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start taking our skewers out of the water, and we're going to start putting them into, and we're going to start putting our chicken into the chicken. So I'll check my time. Great, okay. So I'll take that out. Take a piece of my chicken. here, right through it and bring it down just like that. And I'll do the same with my next piece of chicken. And the one after that. Then the one after that. Put that there. Actually, before doing that, it might be wiser to just coat sorry, it might just be wiser to coat the chicken with the sauce first. Might need to let this reduce it just a little longer. There we go. I'll set this to low and simmer and let this reduce a little while longer. Actually, I might even put it over high heat again. Sorry, I'm just going to bring my sauce to a boiling because I think I might not have let it come up to a full boil. So we'll just let this heat up for a few minutes. It's starting to heat up rapidly already. As you can see, this is what my boiling sauce looks like. Oh, can't see it yet, but that's what it's looking like right now. Great, it's being brought to a boil. That's definitely being brought to a boil. I'll bring to simmering heat now. Great, now we'll just let this reduce. Start with my brush. There we go, now it's getting to our desired consistency. That took a little while longer. Great. Okay. Okay. Now we just have to let this cool to room temperature before using. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes when the sauce cools. Stay tuned, everyone, for the next part.